Everything looks perfect online, but perfection is a highlight reel. No one ever shows the days it all just stops working. And when you're creative, your ideas are your currency. So when the ideas don't come, it doesn't just feel like burnout. It feels like forgetting who you are. Worse, it feels like maybe you never had it in the first place. Like you're a fraud and somehow the magic's run out. I've felt it many times before. Like I was going through the motions, but nothing was making me feel anything. That's when I knew I had to stop forcing it, stop chasing perfection, and get comfortable with being a beginner again. Because sometimes, the hardest part isn't starting. It's giving yourself permission to be in progress. So here's how I found my way back, and in the next few minutes, maybe you'll find yours too. Now I'd be lying if I said I have all the answers, but there are things I can always count on making me feel like me again. When I was a kid, my parents ran a video store, wall-to-wall movies in every genre. Every Tuesday we'd go to the theater to catch new ones. It became a ritual, me and my dad. It was more than entertainment, it was a connection, and without realizing it, it became the foundation for everything I make today. So when I started feeling stuck, I didn't look for hacks. I went back to the places that shaped me. See, the funny thing about inspiration is you can't force it, but you can invite it. It's up to you to create a moment where it might feel welcome. I've really grown to love doing something that's completely unrelated to making videos. Cooking and filmmaking, they're two different things. But the more I do both, the more I realize how similar they are. Each dish starts with an idea, the ingredients. Then comes the execution, chopping, layering, timing. And finally, the result, a finished piece. There's no performance here, no audience, no algorithm to please, just me, the food, and a quiet kind of joy that reminds me why I create in the first place. I feel the same way when I'm shooting film. Most times I have no plan, just a roll of film in my pocket. But I've been meaning to fill this wall in my studio. And there are 2 empty frames I haven't touched in months. I know the size, I know where they go, but I've been waiting for something that feels right. Not just a pretty photo. Something I'll feel every time I'm walking, even on the days I'm tired or stuck or unsure. That's what I love about film. You can't shoot 100 photos and sort it out later. You have to slow down, you have to mean it. My goal isn't just to get the perfect shot. It's about noticing again, about feeling something and knowing it's yours. Not everything I shoot will make it to the wall, but maybe one will, and for now, that's enough. And I know what you're thinking. Cooking, movies, film photos. What do all these things have to do with inspiration? Everything. See, when you're stuck, the instinct is to push through. Force the next idea, prove you're still creative, but sometimes the answer is to step away. Cooking teaches me to create without pressure. Film teaches me to slow down and trust my eye. And movies remind me why I love storytelling. Inspiration doesn't come from pushing through, it comes from living and letting it find you. And once it does, you can't help but create again. For me, the first step is always sound. I saw a question recently under one of my videos that asked for the name of sound effects I use, as well as where I get music from and how I choose which songs to use. Well, if pictures aren't what you see, sound is what you feel. And whether it's from your phone, a vinyl, or even an old cassette player, the right track sets the mood before your first shot, because sometimes words aren't enough, and the right sounds say everything you're trying to feel. That's the reason why I use Epidemic Sound. Not just for music, but to guide the feeling of the story. They've got thousands of tracks from real artists curated by mood, genre, and themes. So when I'm chasing a feeling, I can actually find it. And once I do, that's when everything starts to click. I write to the song so that my words flow with the beat, and I match my tone to the rise and fall of a track. Like writing lyrics to a song I haven't heard yet. Even the details, the footsteps, the shutter click, I pull from Epidemic Sound. And with stems, I can strip back instruments, isolate the melody, and let the track breathe while I build around it. Because sound isn't background noise, it's the soul of the scene. That's why they've become the best soundtracking partners for creators like me. And if you want to try it for yourself, they've got a 30-day free trial. You just gotta hit the link in the description. Thank you Epidemic Sound for sponsoring this video. I never thought anyone would care about how I make these. But ever since the last couple of videos, you've had questions about the process. How do I plan shots? What gear do I use? Do I write first or shoot first? So now that I'm feeling inspired again, here are some answers. I've already found the right song. Now it's about building around it. I drop everything into the timeline, music, voiceover, and then I start shaping. Color blocks, rough pacing, emotional beats. Each color is a moment that I haven't filmed yet, but I already feel. Then I search for visual references, frames from movies I love, music videos that inspire me and make me feel something. These days, I shoot with a Sony FX3 and a 2040-70 G Master lens. It's versatile enough to let the emotion decide. Establishing shots, wide. Moments that feel personal, I get close, tight, handheld, 35 or 50mm. I don't believe in fixed settings, I shoot for how it feels. But I do have a few rules. Shutter speed is double my frame rate. Frame rate depends on the story. 24 for emotion, maybe 60 for slow motion, but only if it earns it. For me, the story comes first. If it calls for a beautiful shot, I'll make it happen. But sometimes the right choice is just a simple static frame. I think it's something you develop a taste for over time. Think of it as a creative toolkit that you're building. As you get better at creating videos, it becomes easier to know when to use each tool to help tell a better story. And that's a little bit of how I make these videos. My process is always changing and my skills are constantly improving. But sometimes reminding myself that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be can be really helpful. The video is done now. Exported, colored, scored. But what I found had nothing to do with the final cut. It was the in-between moments, boiling water, film clicks, slow walks. The kind of quiet that never makes it into a timeline. But maybe that's the point. That creativity isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers, and you only hear it when you slow down enough to listen. So, the next time you feel stuck, don't just make something. Go out and feel something.